Facebook gives us a statement as to what caused the 6-hour blackout. On Tuesday, Facebook revealed the cause of the 6-hour-long outage the previous day. In a blog post, Facebook said the outage was triggered by a system that manages its global backbone network capacity. The company's engineering team determined that, quote, configuration changes on the backbone routers that coordinate network traffic between our data centers caused issues that interrupted this communication, end quote. So while this explanation is light on the significant specifics, the blog post makes clear that there was no malicious activity, that they have no evidence that user data was compromised, and in the upcoming days and weeks, the long-term implications of the outage will become clearer. Without detailed specifics over what caused the outage, it's impossible to know if Facebook has systematic issues or if this was a simple, predictable technological problem. Dr. Ansgar Cohen, Senior Research Fellow at Horizon Digital Economy Research, University of Nottingham in England, and Global AI Ethics and Regulatory Leader at Ernst & Young, believes the long-term fallout from the outage could prompt regulators to take a closer look at Facebook. Please support my Patreon account since YouTube has again demonetized my YouTube channel. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below. But government authorities are going to trying to figure out what exactly Facebook is becoming. This is what they say. The most significant potential long-term implications financially is if this triggers thinking at the government regulatory level that they say this is evidence that Facebook is basically a utility in the digital space similar to gas, water, electricity that are in the physical space. That would make Facebook maybe even, this is speculation in the long term, into something like a utility. Can you imagine? That's because so many people depend on it. There's also the reality that the outage could hurt Facebook in future antitrust cases. Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Facebook Messenger are 4 of the 5 most used social media platforms and have 7.5 billion active users. For many people without Facebook, there's no internet or ability to communicate with friends, family, and customers. And Dr. Ansgar Cohen says, the events yesterday that so clearly demonstrated the dominant position that Facebook has and the impact, the extent to which lots of other companies depend on Facebook and people depend on Facebook will have an impact on the antitrust case. So there you go. Ryan Hartwig, co-author of Behind the Mask of Facebook, a whistleblower's shocking story of big tech bias and censorship, also voiced concerns over Facebook's outsized dominance in the internet and what the outage says about the company. And saying, I think it's definitely a big deal if they cannot handle their major infrastructure. And of course, with the sheer amount of traffic that Facebook has, when they have an outage, it affects the entire internet. Some mused that Facebook's outage was meant to draw attention away from from a conversation around Facebook whistleblower Frances Hogan. However, Hartwig, also a Facebook whistleblower, is not convinced, saying, I actually don't think that they're related, but I'm just trying to think how they would benefit from this. I don't think it was a purposeful attempt to avoid discussion of Frances Hogan. It's a kind of interesting coincidence, but I don't think it's intentional. Facebook near 6-hour outage is only one of their many problems. The company faces a lot of antitrust suits, criticism from both left and right in the US, the UN, and other countries, and this has been critical of their handling of hate speech in Myanmar's genocide of Rohingya. Even with all of this looming problems, the company remains one of the most valuable, powerful, of course, in the world. This is on Sputnik by Nevin Brown. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support.